So what we're going to be doing today is put a seal coat on the bottom of the car. Today we're going to be using Eastwood Rust Encapsulator Plus matte black, simply because number one, it was on hand. Number two, it can be brushed on, and I do not yet have a fully operational spray gun gear set yet, and you can paint over this. So this is the key to this is what it's going to do is going to seal the bottom of the car. And allow us to be able to have a good solid penetrating seal on the vehicle over top of the spray through, rust through primer. And it can be brushed on as opposed to only being sprayed on. The third reason why I got this to use is because this is what's on hand. And if you have it on hand and it's applicable to what you're trying to do, you might as well go ahead and use it. It's not going to be the finished color because we're going to try to emulate the slop gray, which is essentially when the cars were painted with primer in the factory, they used leftover paint of every possible color and ended up coming kind of a muddy gray color. So we're going to try to emulate that over top of this once this hardens. So that's what we're going to use. Next step is to figure out how to get this can open. I've never seen this plastic lid before, so I don't know. Let's try it out. Let's see what we can figure out. So the consensus in the group is that this plastic is just there for when they're shipping the can, and it just needs to be cut off. So I'm hoping that that's correct. I am now cutting off this plastic ring and hoping that that is all that it is, and it's just a normal regular can underneath. If that's the case and you get one of these, you can now know that that's how you get that off, is just cut off the ring somehow, some way without killing your fingers and stabbing yourself. Okay, that looks like it's coming off. Okay, I would love it for just to come right off. That would be super and great. It's so terrified of mashing my fingers or stabbing myself. Probably is a lot easier than I'm making it. Pretty thick down in here. Let's see if I can use a screwdriver to pry it up, maybe. Again, without stabbing myself, causing bodily injury. Ooh, it's super deep in the inside. Okay. Oh, look at there. Look at there. Look at there. See exactly how I knew it was going to work. Just like that. See? See? I knew that was going to work. You just pry it right off. It's like, no big deal. Like, what are you worried about? Come on, let's get it together. So we're going to see how this works. I'm terrified of this giant can of paint flying everywhere. But go big or go home is what I say. So let's hope that we can go big instead of going home, even though we're home. I'm going to start with a brush and just see how that works. See what progress we can make just using a brush and how well this functions. Of course, the brush is tiny, but I'm not in any hurry, so I'm not rushing. It's pretty thick, kind of like house paint. And it'll be interesting to see how it lays down. And if it stays with brush strokes or if it kind of smooths out on its own, that would be great. Because I can just piddle through here and just do what I gotta do and let it just kind of smooth out on its own. I'd like that a lot. I like that very much. If it can just do its thing and just... does stink. I may have to wear a mask. I know that I'm well ventilated in here. I'm gonna go turn on the other fan so you won't be able to hear me, but at least it'll ensure proper ventilation. Let's try that out. All right, so now I got both fans going, proper ventilation. I painted everything I can off of the cap. So now I'm working out of the can. Fortunately, this is all super safe, right? Safety first. Let's see how this works. This ought to be fun. Again, this is never going to be seen. The key is it's functional in sealing the bottom of the car. Going on pretty heavy just to see how well it pools down in the cracks. And if it flattens out with fewer brush strokes, that would be even better. Because that just means that I'm able to do it by brush, and it'll be fine. It'll be okay. You can see that you can do it too. And that'll be helpful for everybody. That's pretty smooth. I don't know if you're supposed to be going light and recoating it or heavy and letting it kind of find its own level. Most of the videos I've seen is you just brush it on, which is fine. Now, these inner rockers are only really going to be welded from the outside, so it's okay to put this on the inside lip of that because there's not going to be any welding going on there. Okay, it's working. It's doing something. Maybe too heavy, I don't know. But we'll see how it goes. Get up under there. Get up under there. Now, we'll leave this alone because we know that we're going to be dealing with some torque boxes and a lot of stuff going on in that area, so we'll leave that section alone. We'll just concentrate on the portions that aren't really going to get worked over too much. in the assembly phase of this build. And it's black, that's for sure. It's coating, that's for sure. And we'll see how it is when it dries. Just how it looks when it dries. Certainly doing what it says it's going to do. So far so good. Let's throw a time lapse on so you don't have to watch this for a half an hour. So we have successfully applied Eastwood Rust Encapsulator Plus with a brush. Yeah, it's on there. I can't believe it, but I gotta believe it because I'm looking right at it. So is it smooth and even and without drips, runs, or what have you? Nope. But it is on the metal, and the metal is now sealed from rust, and the first layer of what will eventually be the final coating on this car, which is going to be the Eastwood chassis black satin, which has some ceramic in it, and actually will seal everything and make it very much impervious to the things that are going to fly up underneath the car during its lifetime. So yeah, just took my time, used a cheap chip brush and went around. I've used about maybe a third of a gallon, about a third of a gallon, a little less than half of a gallon total to do the underside of the car. Certainly not the most efficient way to do this, but it says use one medium wet coat and make sure everything is covered. Everything is absolutely covered. So yeah, I wonder if I'm curious to know whether it's sandable or not, which would maybe lessen the obvious drips and runs. But it's the bottom of the car. Who really cares? I know I really don't care. This is not a concourse restoration. This is a functional sympathetic restoration with every advantage taken of modern technology, materials, and finishes to make the car last another 60 years. So yeah, so that's where we're at. It is December 31st. I am down to the wire in getting this car reconstructed, at least so it can be seen in some form that looks like an actual vehicle by the first week in February. We'll see if that happens. But if I can get this finalized and sprayed with the chassis black, hopefully, then what we can do at that point is we can count this part of the car finished. We can flip the car over and actually mount it to the actual chassis body cart so that it's actually mounted for real, and then start building up off of that. So it's been a pretty productive day. We were able to get the Thompson Power Blast plate installed on the engine. We're able to get this sanded down, scuffed up, and the encapsulator applied in beautiful, flawless, perfect fashion. No. Nope. And that's where we're at today. It is the end of 2023. I think we're making tremendous product. Eastwood is not sponsoring the video. I am a full price retail customer. I did not get any discounts or any promotional consideration for the products I'm using on this build. And I'm paying just like you do. I'm using the techniques that they recommend just like you are. I am no expert, just like many of you may be. And this is my first and only restoration, just like some of you may be. So we're all in this together. Don't be discouraged. Take everything step by step. And if you don't like the way it looks, you can always sand it back down. So from Project 21F here in Parts Unknown, it's on to the new year, 2024, and on to the next adventure.